But yeah, this is my passion. Expungement kind of started, like I said, last year. I'm a professional in the cannabis industry. And everyone knows the story in marijuana, right, and in cannabis, where it was criminalized and people lost their lives, lost the ability to make money, support their families. Communities were decimated as people were thrown in jail for a lot of petty marijuana convictions. And my passion has always been communities of color, marginalized peoples, minorities, women, Black folks, and the Black community especially was disproportionately harmed by this policy. Black people were 4 times more likely to get arrested for using marijuana and possessing marijuana, although we were all using it the same rates as our white counterparts for the most part. And so expungement is something that I advocate for pretty aggressively. I believe that now that marijuana is legal in Michigan, anybody who was unjustly criminalized because of it should be forgiven, right? And they shouldn't still have it as a barrier to all of their opportunities. I'm passionate about inequity, and I recognize that by not making sure expungement was a part of implementing a legal marijuana market, Michigan really compounded the harm of the war on drugs on those families, which I've seen disproportionately impact Black people. We started the Black and Brown Cannabis Guild last year. Me and my friend Ariana Waller, she's a brilliant entrepreneur and organizer and activist just like me. And we said, it doesn't make sense that there's a legal cannabis market and that people are still being harmed by this. So we decided to do expungement. And then we realized there weren't enough people of color in the legal cannabis industry, owning dispensaries, working the jobs. And so we decided to be aggressive about advocating for that as well. Last year was our first expungement clinic. It was held in conjunction with the city of Grand Rapids, where Mayor Bliss had proclaimed it National Expungement Week. And so we helped so many people through that event. And what we learned was that we have to keep doing it, that people need these services, that it's really hard to be able to afford an attorney and pay the billable hours that it costs for an attorney to go to court with you or to help you with the paperwork. And so we realized that if we had those resources in Grand Rapids, we should be raising awareness of them. And so we connected with Cooley Law School, started that relationship last year, and they felt the same way after our event, which was that so many people needed that help and support. There was no way it could be just a one-off event. We needed to continue to do the work. So this year we were going into 2020 super committed to providing expungent resources on the ground. We were planning one for 420 and COVID happened. And like everyone else in the world, every organization, every person, we had to pivot. And so we canceled the 420 expungement fair and instead decided to wait to see how to do so safely. And we recently announced that there will be an expungement clinic on September 28th. That'll be right in Grand Rapids. 26th, I'm sorry, it's September 26th. I keep saying that to everyone. This Saturday, the 26th, we'll be having another expungement clinic. But this year, instead of doing it super grassroots, we connected to national funding. The organization National Expungement Week has decided to sponsor our event this year, making all of the background checks for the attendees, instead of $10, what they paid last year, absolutely free. And also add our event to a roster of events happening all across the country so that they're getting more views, we're raising awareness that much faster. And then we also connected with a local cannabis company to sponsor Flourish, who just today decided that they will also be helping with hiring. So if someone comes to our event looking for work in the marijuana industry, they can sign up for that as well to get updates on when jobs become available. So this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I do day, night, weekday, weekend. And I'm so excited about this weekend because as of right now, it is technically all over the country, National Expungement Week.
Awesome. Absolutely. That is awesome to hear. Before we go any further, I want to hear from Charles because Fred Charles.
It's all right. 2 first names. I get it all the time. 2 first names. Get it all good.
I heard a story just last Saturday when we did a webinar. You hosted a live about how you and Fred and your mother was involved and how National Expungement Week last year affected you, Fred, and you have an awesome story. So tell us.
Denavvia, the brilliant Denavvia, they put on the fair. I was a regular patron. I just want to make sure we clear. She did this amazing service for the community, and her mother actually got the ball rolling. And you know, I'm eternally grateful. So I will tell that story again, but I just wanted to say a few words because I love that story. You know, everybody, you know, a success. I mean, that story is critical in the movie, in the story that we build in here. So anyway, I just like to add that I just think it's important to touch on how services like expungement or low-level infractions are not only a step in the right direction, ultimately they have the power and the ability to really transform a person's life. The ability to rejuvenate and renew a person's life. And I just never thought that it was okay for a low-level infraction, a minor infraction, to hinder you throughout your entire life. I just always thought that was just ridiculous. So me, myself, I faced similar circumstances for over a decade. So when I speak, I'm speaking from a real place. I'm speaking from real life experiences. And I can attest to how I know I felt down, despair, hopeless at times. So fairs like this is just tremendous for the community because it restores some of that hope, and we definitely need it now. So I'm super excited to be a part of the team. Anything that need to be done, just like you stated early, I'm gonna be on the front line right there with you every step of the way. So
last year you were there getting your own record expunged?
yeah, actually, yes, I was. Last year I was there with the crowd, coming in knowing no one, just seeing the ad or somebody told me. Somehow I found out, and I
So,
showed up right early.
Fred, if I remember correctly, you were a Link fellow, right?
I mean, I'm affiliated with some Link members, yeah. So I was there as something else, you know, and yep, you're right. See,
yeah, at the time we had asked them to let all their fellows know about it, and Link is a really embedded community organization, and that's who allowed us to use their space. Last year, I mean, when we do grassroots things, there's like no budget for it, right? Link was willing to let Ariana Waller and I rent the gallery right in the South Side in the neighborhood, and didn't charge us a penny. They just said, make sure you're gone by the time our paying clients get here for their event. I think it was like a baby shower or a wedding reception. So we got to benefit from the network that Link had. And then we also got to really reach people like Fred right in the neighborhood by flyering. We decided that we were gonna go old school. We know everyone relies on digital media, but we decided to just get real paper and like take it to everybody, like in the corner store, in the grocery store, at the liquor store. And by the time the event transpired, we did get amazing people from every walk of life who could benefit from our services. And I did meet Fred specifically through my mother. My mom was supposed to be on Braden duty, as I call it. I'm a single mom in this community, and I have a toddler. And so my mother, who's from Benton Harbor, where I'm from, she drove up to watch my son. And over the course of the event, she was so touched because my mother was very skeptical about my involvement in the marijuana industry. She wasn't super fond of it, and she just did not like the idea of me doing anything in the drug industry. But when I told her I was having an expungement clinic and needed her to help watch my son, she shot up to Grand Rapids for her grandbaby. And when she got to Link and she saw all the people there with their children, just looking for help, she got right. She threw herself in. She's like, come on, Braden, let's go over to the legal support people table and help sign people up. And she met Fred. Fred was going live at the event.
Definitely.
And Fred's gonna go live at the event again this year.
Live. I might stand on the car at this point.
Yes.
We want to capture the whole landscape. Live. So yeah, it's definitely.
Fred was really at the event, like having like he was getting the word out to everybody in his network. And my mother was like, you should meet my daughter. Like, come with me. And so that's how I ended up meeting Fred last year. I was like, hi, thanks for coming.
And so definitely. Paid organizer for the event this week.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm extremely grateful. You just never know. Just coming to an event with your cell phone in your hand and just hitting record. Next thing you know, you fast forwarded. You know, I looked around the room and I seen the amount of people, and I know what I've been dealing with for the last 10, 11 years, and I was like, oh, this is a powerful feeling. I had goosebumps. So then, you know, I was aware of Denavvia just from her works in the community. So when I seen that, oh, somebody needs to be filming this. This is major. I just felt it was just necessary to jump in there. I would do it 1,000,000 times again. So
I was there. There was easily a few hundred people there. I don't know what our total was that day.
By the end of the day, we had more than 400 people walk through the door of the gallery.
It was
And we
awesome.
were only there for a couple hours. I think the event last year was from 10 to 1. And at 1 o'clock, we still had over 100 people that had not sat down with attorneys that we had to process after the event. So last year was a big event, and this year we are working to bring that same impact to the community and grow it, but just with the notion that we're organizing in a pandemic, right? So we're trying to keep our volunteers safe. We have to keep the attendees safe, and that their safety is top of mind and priority this year and every year. So we're having a drive-up clinic this year with registration and masks required, just so that we can continue to do this without feeling like we're putting people at risk. We understand that this pandemic that's happening globally, and these pandemics, multiple, are impacting communities of color pretty heavily in 2020, and we don't want to compound any harm. But this event on Saturday is going to be safe. People can register, and then they can come join us on Saturday with their mask on. They can wait in their car and go from there.
Bring Brandon on in. I mean, Braden. He wants to. Okay, if you can't say hi.
If I could, real quick, Saturday, I just want to nail this down. Like Denavvia was saying, just to follow up, definitely September 26th, the event will be hosted by Black and Brown Cannabis Guild from 12 to 5. That's noon to 5. And the link to pre-register, because that is a requirement, we would hate to have to turn anyone away, will be www.bbcannabis.com/off the record.
So
that's www.
Description there.
Yeah, and then that'll be helpful. So your pre-registration is definitely required, and just so we stay in accordance with the city's guidelines and ordinances, we definitely got to mask up and bring your mask, and we just look forward to seeing the people there.
Okay.
Yeah, and in addition to registering, like I know that there are people who, after these like awesome videos and live panels and stuff, they inbox us and say, what can I do, right? If I don't necessarily need a conviction removed from my own record, but how can I help? I always let people know that while we're in this intake process, there's a lot that we can benefit from our community.
He's okay. He's Denavvia, he's okay, sweet.
But yeah, so people can essentially sign up to volunteer. Fred is our volunteer coordinator this year, so you can literally reach out to him right after this live video. I'm sure
she's also a volunteer link in the description.
And people can sign up to volunteer, especially attorneys. We're always looking for more attorneys to work with. But yeah, those are ways people can help, and they can go to the website and on the video and get all that info. So yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Well, I wanted to share you guys' passion. I also have a passion for justice, so I'm on board just volunteering on a small level, but that's what people can do if they feel the need, if they feel so inspired. You can click on the link and volunteer. We're accepting volunteers, and people trying to get their record expunged, please click on the link and pre-register. And that way, I don't know if we have limited numbers or what's going on with the numbers. Fred, maybe you can speak to that, but
they're going to stay in compliance with the city ordinances. And last time I checked, it was no more than really like 100 people. So
no, so this is a state. This isn't a local ordinance. This is state law. So by executive order, the state of Michigan is still under a state of emergency, and during that time, you can't have more than 100 people at an event, and you need to practice social distancing. But the city doesn't have any laws right now that are pertinent to masking up and social distancing. But the state, actually, in Michigan, we take COVID very seriously, and the governor is trying to keep our numbers low. Right. And then our partner, our venue host this year is Kent County. Kent County DHS is actually hosting this, and if you guys know, the county is where we get our CARES Act funding from, our health department from, and so they take very seriously hosting an event that adheres to the state directive to wear masks and not host any events with more than 100 people, and to do social distancing. And so we'll be right across the street from those offices for Kent County in the parking lot on Franklin and Sheldon. So we have, by state order, we need to follow those rules, and we encourage our guests to empower us to do that, which is why we're trying to keep our infrastructure kind of condensed this year. I know last year people asked me like, well, there will still be a resume writing workshop and a storytelling booth and a sign up to work elections table and register to vote table and a jobs hiring table. And I'm like, last year was a fair because we had the capacity for that. This year, the more the more resources and vendors we have, the more obviously our body count, right? So if we want to be able to help 100 people, we really got to watch how many volunteers we even bring on, right? And so being conscious of 100 not being the number of people we can help, but the number of people we can entertain within the parameters of the event. That's just how we organize responsibly in a pandemic. We got to keep people safe, and we got to follow the rules, because we shouldn't put anyone in danger trying to help people. That wouldn't be right.
Right. Okay.
Definitely. And we appreciate the city of Grand Rapids, Kent County especially too. So we want to continue to be able to put on events like this for the community to help restore their hope. So that's why it's just critical that everyone pre-registers, social distance, that's still in effect, and just please just wear a mask so we could continue to do works like this.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. With that, I guess we'll wrap it up. Again, it's this Saturday, 12 to 5?
12 to 5.
And please pre-register, and volunteers are needed. Click on the links, check us out, friend us, come talk about it, come see us, and we are happy to serve you. And I appreciate you, Fred and Denavvia. I love what you're doing in the community. And they, you know what they say, if you the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I know I'm in the right room because y'all got it going on.
No, don't put that on me. No. I did want to say one thing. I did leave in the link in the chat right now. You have the pre-registration link, and you also have the volunteer form link. It's in the chat link.
And it's also in our intro. It should come up in our intro.
Okay.
So,
and for all the people who decide to volunteer kind of last minute, I will let people know the cutoff for t-shirts is actually today. And then our volunteer orientation is this Thursday night. So if you are planning to volunteer, mark your head and plan in your mind to come to orientation too.
Okay. And so when they fill out their volunteer application or just registration, they will also get an alert about the volunteer orientation Zoom that's happening this Thursday, right?
This Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30. So definitely, the notifications will be getting sent out. Going off of who basically filled out the volunteering form, we will be in communication with you and sending you those links and that information from 6:30 to 8:30 this coming up Thursday for the orientation.
Okay. Thank you both for your time, and it is appreciated. The community appreciates you, and let's go. This has been Passion Speak. Thank you for your passion.
Thank you. See you later.